Hey, what's going on guys, Jake We're back for another video. Now today I'm going to be showing you guys how to make these like 3D website effects inside of Davinci Resolve using Fusion. Now this can be done to websites, whether it's that you have an image or a video, and it can also be done on just images that you guys have. If you guys are new here, make sure you guys hit the subscribe button and also leave a comment down below. Well, anyways, let's jump right into the video. So I just have my image of my Buy Me a Coffee website here, and I'm going to actually delete that and come over to the effects, grab a Fusion composition, and then go inside of that. And then what we're going to do is import our image right in here. So this will make it so that there's a 1920 by 1080 background once we are done. And now as you can see, we have the full resolution image here, which is 1920 by 1579. So we'll just grab background and merge this up. And we can make this any color that we want our background to be. And now what we need to do is with this media one is create the depth map. So pretty much tell Fusion what we want to stand out and what we just want to leave not 3D. So let's go ahead and start doing that. So we'll grab another background, okay, and set this to white. Okay, so we can view that over on the side here. And what we want to do is set the background to the same resolution as our image. So let's come up to the image tab, uncheck auto resolution, and all I have to do is change the height on this image. So 1579. And there we go. We have our two images of the same size. Now what we'll do is grab a rectangle node, and with this rectangle node, we will put on one of the spots that we want to pop out. So let's put on the spot that you buy the coffee right here, okay? And let's just move it over. And go ahead and drag this down. Okay, so there's these like little black lines here. And that's what we're going to try and line this up with. Okay, so this will just be a lot of little just playing around with it until you get it exactly how you want it. Alright, so that's looking pretty good. So let's check out how this looks. So how we're going to do it is after the media N1, add an image plane. And after the image plane, add a displays 3D node. There we go. And now plug the background into that. And if we view it, as you can see, that looks pretty bad, okay? And what we need to do is come into the scale and bring this down, okay? But that still doesn't look good because it like stretches it out in a weird way. And that's because there's only 10 subdivisions inside the image. If we bring this up, as you can see, it'll eventually get to be more accurate. So let's put this at something like 500, okay? And that's looking a lot better. So as you can see now we have the line is on the side. So let's just come and bring down the width. So let's just come and bring up the width until it gets to a spot that we want. And since the background is all white on this image, it's going to be a fairly easy one to do because you can extend a little past what you're supposed to with this. So now we can right click in here, do 3D options and enable shadows, and that will just allow us to be able to see this a little bit better. So now on the displays, you want the scale to pop out to the one that you want to be out the farthest. So let's bring it to something like that, okay? And that's looking pretty good. Now let's go ahead and add rectangles for all of these buying of coffees, okay? Something you might want to do is hide your displace node. Just like that, because it is a little slow to render. Okay, so before I continue, this one I don't want to stick out quite as much. And the easiest way to change that is just by bringing the level down over here. And as you can see, that will bring it down because it is making it a darker shade, okay? And if we come back up into the display, so we're going to enable the shadows. As you can see, I kind of like that look a lot better, all right? Alright, there we go. Now I have all of those popping out. So if it's not quite as high resolution as you guys want, you can go ahead and bring this up more. Just keep in mind this will make it play back a lot slower. Okay, so we'll do something like that for now. And now I'm going to come up and add a circle around this little coffee logo here. So let's go ahead and do that. We'll just grab a circle mask, bring that down. And as you can see, that's defaulting to be right down here. And we'll just move this up right to where the coffee is. And as you can see, this is what I mean about it kind of playing back a little bit slow. It's lagging a little bit here, but we'll just bring this up and center this right on the coffee logo, okay? And if you guys want to smooth out those jagged edges a little bit, just add like a little bit of a soft edge effect to it. And as you can see, that will fix it. And I just brought the soft edge up a lot, and I'm kind of liking that warp look, so I'm just going to leave it at that. Next, I'm going to come down and do the footer here, so let's go ahead and grab another rectangle and add it onto our big group of them here. And there we go, that gives us a pretty nice look. So I'm going to come up here and go ahead and remove the edit page and dashboard because that is all the admin controls, and I don't want that to be shown here. So let's go ahead and grab background that is completely white, view this merge, and go ahead and place this over those. And so one thing we have to do is also make the background the correct resolution. Otherwise, as you can see, it is not showing up. But as soon as we make this correct resolution, and I guess that also will offset the image a little bit and We just gotta drag it back down. As you can see, it will remove that for us. So let's go ahead and work on the textures. So you might think that you don't really need a texture, but I think it's cool to have a little bit of reflection going on. So we'll set up a reflection texture. So first we need a ward, okay? And this is just a texture node that is good for working with reflections. So for that, we'll have the media in after the merge, of course, coming into the material. Then the ward is going to go into the reflect node, and that is going to be going into the background material. So now if we look at this, this is what we have, okay? And if we connect this up to the rectangle, nothing should change. It'll just add a little bit of reflectivity to it. But now let's say we want to reflect textures, so kind of like a HDRI. What we'll do is make a custom one, okay? So we'll just add in a background, okay? And then we will add in some rectangles, make this background white. And I'm just going to rotate my background 30 degrees. Go ahead and stretch this out and bring it in. And then just go ahead and place a few of these around our image. Again, just varying them in size. And there we go. I'm just going to leave it at something like that. And now this is going to go into a sphere map. Now this is a very important step, otherwise you will not get the correct reflection look. And this will go into the reflection color material, okay? And we can also put this into the intensity material. And now if we come over, as you can see our like little stripes reflecting onto our image. Now let's go up and set up some lighting. So let's grab a 3D merge node, and we'll grab a spotlight. And if we view the merge node, let's just drag the spotlight back, and as you can see, it'll start to light up our image. Let's go into the spotlight controls and check use target, and that'll make it so it always points there. So even when we bring it up, it'll automatically rotate to point right down there. Okay, let's just drag this up, move it off to the side a little bit. There we go. So we want this, this is going to be our shadow caster, okay? And I like the look of those shadows. So just leave it at that. Maybe come over here and up the cone angle just a little bit. And one thing that we need to do is if you look at these shadows, they're not high resolution. That's because the light is kind of far away. So if we come down in the shadows, then up the shadow map size, as you can see, that will bring up the quality. And again, the higher you go with that, the longer it will take to render. Okay, so now that that's done, let's also add in an ambient light. And if we just connect this right up, we'll just give it like a little bit of intensity. Okay, now we can come into the reflect and start playing with the settings. So let's add a little bit of face on strength. So there is some face on reflection. Okay, we don't want too much of this because that'll give it a weird effect. So let's do something about, I don't know, something about that. I think that looks pretty good. And then the glancing strength, we'll bring that down just a bit. Okay, so this is our effect right now. And now the light, that's kind of intense in my opinion. So let's come over to the ward, then come down to specular, and go ahead and spread out the U and spread out the V. And then we can also just bring that intensity down, and you can also change the color if you guys would like. Now as you can see, that is giving it a pretty cool looking effect. So now let's add in a camera. Okay, just merge that up, and then also add in a render 3D node, and view the render 3D node and the merge node, and we'll enable the shadows on the merge. And then inside of the render node, enable lighting and shadows. Now with this camera selected, let's come into its inspector and enable target again, and drag the camera out. So now as you can see, that will start to appear over in the render 3D. So let's put the target up a little bit, okay? And we'll pan the camera off to the side, zoom it in. And for me, I set the render type to OpenGL, and that's going to be more GPU based, and that is going a lot faster for me. As you can see, this is the full quality image. So let's go ahead and animate this. So on the first frame, we'll like keyframes once we get our initial point selected. And now we will come down to the end. And what I'm going to do is just bring this over, have this come down to the bottom, the last someone purchased the 3D slideshow template right there. Okay. And we'll just pan this over to the side. We will zoom this in some, move it over a little more, and then pan it down. Okay, so now we get like an upward looking effect. I can rotate this a little bit more. There we go. And I also want this to be a little brighter, so in the ambient light, let's just come and brighten this up. And so now we gotta make sure that this looks good, so let's just pan through it, making sure everything that we want stays in the frame at all times. There we go, that's looking pretty good. I'm gonna come into the spline editor, drag over the camera, and hit the zoom to fit here. And then I'm just gonna select them all and hit S, and that'll just smooth them out for us, okay? So I'll make it like ease out and then ease into the shot. So now if we just drag our media in, or media out and background down, let's connect the render 3D up on top and view the media out. Now with the background, I'm gonna make this white, but that can be any color that you want. I might even make it like a little bit of a grayish here, just selecting the point. There we go, something like that. Then after the render 3D, I'm going to add in a glow effect. Then after the render 3D, let's just add in a soft glow effect. Okay. And bring up the glow size, bring up the gain, or bring down the gain, I'm sorry. There we go, I like the look of that. And another thing we could do is add depth of field. So for this shot, I would say it's not necessary just because most of it's pretty much just face on. But if you're doing some like intense angles, I would definitely use depth of field. And I guess it kind of comes down to a perspective right here, so I will enable it just to show you guys how to do it. In your render, come down to output channels and then Z. And to demonstrate the Z, if I come over my image, as you can see down at the bottom, you see those numbers. But if I view the render 3D node, as you can see, there's an extra channel there, and that's the Z channel. So that's how far it is away from the camera, and the depth blur can take advantage of that, making a 2D depth of field. So let's bring the Z plane or Z scale all the way down to 1. We'll up the blur size, and then if you click and hold on the sample, as you can see, we'll have an eyedropper that we can drag onto our image. So let's put it up at the Jake Whip, it's making tutorials. Add a keyframe on the focal point, come a few frames forward, and I'll go ahead and put this on the next thing that you want to be in focus, okay? And yeah, I guess this is adding kind of a cool effect, so this will be a cool end result. So there we go, we'll come a few more frames forward and come down to the next thing that we want to focus on. And again, just making sure it's always what we want that is in focus. Alright, and I'm liking the effect of that. You guys can play around with the other settings to get exactly how you like, but I like this one. Now that's done, if you guys want, come into the render 3D and add motion blur, but that'll slow it down a lot, so only use it if it is a fast moving shot. Alright, but once you guys are done with that, come back to the edit page, wait for this red line to turn blue, and then it is ready for completely smooth playback. Okay, so now it is completely loaded, and if we play this, as you can see, that's a really cool animation. You got all the reflections going, you got the shadows, the text popping out, and overall this is a very easy effect to do. The only thing that is difficult is getting all of the masks put in the exact right spot so that it looks right. Well, anyways guys, if you guys enjoyed this video, please go to my buy me a coffee down in the description and go ahead and donate a coffee. And if you guys enjoyed this video, please give it a like and subscribe to my channel so you never miss out on a new video. I'll see you guys next time for another video.